Welcome back, steam fans. Today we're at the Huron Pond Farm to learn more about steam sterilization from the man himself, Andre Contelmo. Stay tuned.
Andre, how are you figuring out what the largest area is?
I just, well, from experience with the other steamers and stuff and knowing the BTUs, I just guessed. And I'm saying I probably could do a little bit wider than the beds, but I couldn't do 3 beds. So for me, it just makes sense to do them in pairs. And you can experiment with that, I guess. When the soil temperature gets up to 180 degrees, on the outer edge of, I'm taking temperatures obviously as far away from the steam sock as you can get. I take them in the front and the back, and then I take at 3 different places in the middle. You're supposed to let, as my wife will tell you, in good pasteurization, my wife's the cheesemaker up there, she does it at 160. We're looking, there's a couple of weed seeds and a couple of viruses that we get at 180. But anything above 180 is gravy. Like, you're just not, in our business, you're not killing anything else. Like, you're not getting anything else beneficial. But 180 for a half an hour is the gold standard. I generally was shooting for 160 for a half an hour and having fine control of my chickweed. If you look at a death curve, as you go up in temperature, your death times go down. So if I was to hold something there for 180 degrees for 30 minutes, then I would kill X, Y, and Z. But as it gets hotter, the time goes down. You don't need as much time to kill because you're at a higher temperature. And so your kill times go down. So I split the difference by shutting it down at 20 minutes. And I do that because over the course, when I was doing 16 sets, 20 times 16 is hours of time I would save per house. Now I do it out of habit, and I'm saving, an hour a house.
Yeah, we've got some houses that are 200 and some houses that are 300 feet long. What's the longest run you can do with that? And I assume in some point would be better off switching to the opposite end and coming towards the middle?
This is about 100 to 125 feet effective distance with the 20 horse. If you wanted to go the full 300, you'd get the larger unit. Otherwise, you're breaking it up and going end to end.
Again, some people are pushing these machines a little bit further, and I've seen this machine do 150. I would think that would be too long.
So you'd need like a 40 to 50 horsepower unit to do 300-foot rows?
Yeah, effectively. The canvas sock has made a big difference. You know how this goes. Everything gets better over time, and there was a time when everybody was relying on the nylon mesh, and I think it's effective as well. But the canvas forces that steam out further and allows a more uniform delivery of the steam to the surface. So that's kind of full circle. That's allowing that steam to get further more consistently. So there was a time when I'd say 100-foot max, but I think with the tube I would be comfortable in saying 150 feet. As you go wider, you got to come back shorter. It's just it's a physics thing. So if you're going 12 wide, 12 by 100 is effective with that machine. You can kind of mess with it. If you're going narrower, you could probably go further.
Like at this length, these are only 30 inches. You could probably do a 30-inch bed 150 feet, and then you would do it from each side. I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done the math in my head, but 30 inches is, is quite a bit small.
I think on the there's a video that you directed some of us to, and you're steaming more like 10 by 100.
Yeah, that's a 12. That's 12 by 100. 12 by 100.
And how does that, with one sock in the middle, how does that get wide enough out to the edge, or does it just take longer?
Well, actually, there was another factor that you didn't pay attention to in the video, is that was untilled. They were top killing the weeds, and they were killing weeds, like they were present. And we lose a lot of our pressure but depth, and one of the ways you can up it is roll your beds, because I noticed that from his. And what I decided to do, I was like, I don't need it to go as deep as I'm tilled, so I took a lawn roller and rolled the bed, firmed it up. You slow that steam penetration, instead of going down, it goes up and out and over. They were doing you know, it was, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like this, but it was like a lawn. And they, you know, they put that down. That steam just top killed friggin' everything. And you know, but they weren't going to any, like the soil itself was stopping all of the heat loss to the bottom, and the heat loss was up top.
So I might have missed this earlier, but how do you control depth? It sounded like it was a function of time
It's
and
a function of
soil
time.
structure, but
Well, tilling depth. So you can really cripple its ability to penetrate by how deep you're tilling. So for tomatoes we rip so it's broken up, and we till to a depth of 9 inches. For these, we shallow till. It may be a 4-inch till, finish till for greens. But we rip, because we have all the tomato thing, so we rip it, then we till the whole thing, which you'll see we wouldn't have tilled it to that depth, but if you want to go over there, I mean, that's pretty much tomato depth, maybe a little shallower in the top house. And then we would, you know, lay out our beds and roll them. Normally, I would rip the whole thing with a ripper for winter because of the compact thing. And then I would shallow till to 4 inches. And it would decrease my steam time because I don't even want to go down to 4 inches. But the steam time you get used to, and it's because the machine is like, it's all physics. Once you get used to your soils and your machine and your area, then the times don't change. Like, I take temperatures every year thinking I need the data, and then I usually, once I have my system down, I just set the timer on my phone, and I don't even take the temperature, I just move it. And then the only time I have a problem is, like Bruce was saying, cold spot or chain length that wasn't, you know, one was not on one edge, one not on the other, so they didn't overlap.
We hope you learned something here today. If you'd like to learn more, check out the videos over here. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a beat. Thanks for watching.